Assalamu alaikum friends, my name is Khan. Hope everybody is doing good and everybody is doing fine. And today we are here on the day 13 of the 21 day learning SQL challenge. And over the time we have learned a lot of new things, especially regarding the CTEs. And with that use of CTEs, we have also learned the most important and the vital SQL organs which are in practice, which are a common practice and which are part of the dashboards. So before we move forward, let me give you a quick review of what we did yesterday in day 12. And day 12 was all about cohort and retention, and I learned a lot about cohort yesterday, and I managed to solve the main question. And after that, ChatGPT allowed me to do some minor questions, because the main question, the important question which I did was that I found out what is a cohort and how to work on the cohort logic, how to find the cohort, and so on. And today our target was to work on the what real cohort analyst built. Okay, so this is the retention metrics which we should be discussing today, hopefully. And for this cohort table to be built, I already built the 90% of logic on day 12, and today I am hoping to build a real retention metrics question. And yeah, let's see where does ChatGPT takes us today for day 13. So I gave him the cue, which is that day 13 is on. So now let's get right into it. Question 1. And ChatGPT says, love the energy, day 13 is on. And yes, we will keep it pure business scenarios, just like real analyst would face. Yeah, the problem was that in day 12, after the first question, he started asking me some random questions like find this, that, without giving me a business scenario. And I've already told him, if you have watched the other videos, you know that the pattern we are following is that we are getting we will be getting some business scenario questions, and based on those business scenario questions, he asked the questions. And because once you understand the business scenario, you are able to comprehend the concept into your mind once you fully understand it or fully grasp it. Okay, so in day 12 it was missing, so I just make sure that to let him know, to remind him that you have to ask me in the business scenario style, okay, like a real analyst would face. Today we move from cohort logic to retention measurement. Okay, so yesterday we learned cohort logic, and if you have watched the previous videos for day 12, you will understand what is a cohort is. And just for this video, let me tell you that cohort means cohort is when you classify a certain action into a group, and then based on that you kind of control your kind of make learn kind of measure your KPI or retention measurement based on that cohort. So cohort also means that when is the first time a person has purchased from you, and when is the next time he has purchased from you. So these are the cohort logics, if in simple words I can say that. So that means that if a person has bought something from you into. So okay friends, I have just written down the query. Here, and for question 1, a business scenario 1, you can say. And I think so it was similar to what we have done yesterday, and especially with the cohort it was same. To find the cohort here, this is the go-to formula, and then instead of the yearly activity which we have done in question in day 12, what I did was that I count the order date and customers in cohort, because we wanted a specific number down here. Okay, so yeah, yesterday it was the years, but today I'm counting them. So this is the customer count, and the rest was, now I have to join them together in order to make this table, cohort year and the customer count. And with that being said, everything is fine. There is no red line. That means there is nothing to worry about the syntax. Now all we have to do is run this query and see what kind of results we have. Okay, so we faced a problem here, and it is in line 8. Okay So we have shared our code with the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has given his verdict, and ChatGPT said, "Nice attempt, thank you." Nice attempt. That means there is a problem. Okay. Well, obviously we are here for the learning purpose, and we are bound to make mistakes. Let's write it down. Anything which is important for us, and also try to make your notes with yourself. So it says that you are thinking in the right direction. Okay, but there are a couple of logical issues. Let's analyze it carefully like a real data analyst would. So if I'm thinking in the right direction, how come there are logical issues? Oh, well, ChatGPT is trying to be a nice supervisor, but okay, okay. So what does it say? It says that what you did correctly, you correctly created a cohort year CTE. Yeah, I made it here, right? Minion. This correctly finds the first purchase year of each customer. That part is perfect. Okay, so this is a bingo thing. Now I think so. This is a universal formula for this. I think so. Min year to create for the to find a cohort year. Okay, so I've done it perfectly. Now the main logical problem. The business question was count how many customers belong to each cohort year. But your query is doing something different. Okay, so the business question was, yeah, the question was that how many customers belong to each cohort year. Okay, but your query is doing something different. What different? You created this CTE. Yeah, I created this CTE. Customer count is select customer key count order date as customer. Yes, there I think so. There's a problem. Right before going, let me tell you. I think so. There is. I should have selected the quantity. No, no, no. Of the sales line number or something. Order date was something different. Okay, this calculates number of orders per customer, but the business do not ask for order count. We only need number of customer per cohort here. Okay, number of customer. Okay, 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 okay. Before even moving forward, I think so I have found the problem. What I had done is that I had calculated the number of orders per customer for their cohort year, right? Instead, what I should have done, that I should have count the customer key here, if you know what I mean. The customer key here should have been in count. Okay, no, 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 wait a minute. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Number of customers per cohort year. What should the what the query should conceptually do? Step 1, find the cohort year per customer. Yeah, count customers per cohort, two customers together. Hint how to fix this query. Customer cohort, you've already created the correct CTE. Customer cohort. Okay, now just think, instead of joining another. Now let's continue with question 2. A real business scenario. The marketing team asks for each cohort year how many customers came back 1 year after the first 1 year after their first purchase. For each cohort year, how many customers came back 1 year after their first purchase? 1 year after their first purchase. Example output: cohort year 2011, customers returned next year 85. Cohort year 2012, customers returned next year 92. Meaning customer first purchase is 2011 and the customer purchased again in 2012. Okay, hint structure, you already know the pieces. Okay, so the question is asked on the marketing team. Marketing team wants to know that how many customers they return after their first year, after came back 1 year. So boys, I have just written down this query with me. So the query was I had to find that how many customers came back 1 year after their first purchase. Okay, so I had to target the cohort year and the customer return next year. Okay, so it was the question which I've already explained. So for that I have written this query. First I have found the cohort year with the customer cohort as my CTE. Then I have focused on the yearly activity, which I declared as it as my purchase year. Okay, and after that, then I have combined both yearly activity and customer cohort, and then I have applied this filter, which was given to me by ChatGPT. Purchase year is equals to cohort year plus one, and there are no red lines. That means there is no issue with the syntax, and we are in a position to run this query. Now let's run this query, shall we? Okay, so there's a problem here. Fact internet sales, order date, fact internet sales, order date in state line. Okay, fact internet sales, order date is invalid in the select because not contained either in group or group by clause. Okay, select. Okay, so how about, let's just say there is an issue here. Cohort, customer cohort. Okay, customer cohort. But then the order date seems to be having a problem. Order date. No, let's just do one thing. Fact internet sales. This is the customer key. Let's just select cohort year. Well, it's done, and after incorporating the necessary hints, we have gotten our result, and the result is good. The result is good, awesome. And the few changes which I had to make was there was a problem with my aggregation here at this point. I was all my query were providing the results in row by row form, but I needed to aggregate them. So this was the same, but I here for the yearly activity, what I did was I did distinct. I said the select distinct customer key. Okay, and then when I went down there, I selected the cohort year because I wanted to group them by cohort year. Obviously, I couldn't do it here, so I focused on doing it here, the cohort year. Okay, so I took the customer cohort year as the cohort year, and then I guys. So after uh, pasting my code and the necessary learning into my notepad, we are here for the final question for day 13, which is also a real analyst problem, and this is very commonly asked in analytical interviews. Okay, now this is important. So the business question is, the product manager asks, for each cohort year, how many customers return 2 years after their first purchase? Okay, so this one is very commonly asked in analytical interview questions. Analytics interviews. Okay, business question. The product manager asks, for each cohort year, how many customers return 2 years after their first purchase? Okay, so this is a very commonly asked analytical questions. How for each year, how many customers return 2 years after their first purchase? For each cohort year, how many customers returned 2 years after their first purchase? Very commonly asked question. Dear, how many customers return 2 years after their first purchase? Cohort year, customer return after 2 years. Hint. So it is saying that for each cohort year, how many customers returned after 2 years? Okay. So what is the hint? Hint is that the condition is being changing from 1 to 2, and remember the aggregation step. And okay, wait a minute. So that means I just, for example, this code which I have, which I've already written here, copy, and if I go back and paste it into the terminal, because it is saying that I just have to do it like 2 years, 1945. Oh, well, is that supposed to return like this? Because for each cohort year, how many customers return 2 years after their first purchase? What was question two? What was question two? Question two was something between the lines of uh, I think so. This was the business scenario one. What was the business scenario two? Business scenario for each quarter bank already of 1 year. So I just have to turn it to okay. So I think so. There was I have already everything. Just change the retention condition. Also, this was the retention condition. I have applied it, and it is already telling me. And remember the aggregation step. Copy. Let's just paste it here and see how it works. Because I don't see there is nothing to change in this query, and it already says that I already have everything for this query. To be precise, I just have to add 1 plus convert 1 from 2 1 to 2. Okay, so I have just pasted it here to the ChatGPT, and let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Because if this works good, this is a clean correct solution. Let's review it like a data team code review. Okay, so it is correct. Cohort, yeah, everything is correct. Distinct, yes. Customer retention, yes. The correct answer 2 years. Correct aggregation, yes. Correct cohort level. Proper business metric table. Your output becomes a proper business metric table, something like this is how we report a minor alias. Customer returned actually 2 years. After 2 years, some good analyst. Okay, so one thing I wish I was better about you calculate what this table we got. Oh yeah, the correct day 14 will begin, and that is where the product. So I think so the day 13 is over here, but I have let me but the answer is this 1945 only for 2011. Okay, so just let me ask ChatGPT that for I am getting the result for just cohort year 2011, which is 1945. Okay, so just ask him now. So I have been asking ChatGPT, and there seems to be a problem only appears, which means some things is eliminating. Okay, good observation. Let's review like some analytical debugging situation. Yeah, I told you there is a problem with the result, but and only 2011, which means something of filtering logic. The problem where purchase is going to cohort year. This only shows cohorts where customer purchase exactly 2 years after they purchase. Now imagine the data timeline. 2011. Okay, this is the data. If your dataset contain only until 2013, then can return data 20, but only to survive the filter. This is actually expected behavior, not an error. How analysts verify this? Run this quick diagnostic query. Select distinct year from fact internet and order by them by order date. Then your query results make perfect sense. How analysts double check cohorts? With customer cohorts, select minimum. This shows that how many customers belong to each cohort. Important analytical insight when you just encounter right censoring in cohort analysis. Okay, meaning that cohorts cannot be fully evaluated because enough time was passed yet. Very common in product analytics, sales and growth. Your interpretation, meaning that 1945% of the first purchase and returned again 21. This is actually real retention metrics. Quick analyst question, answer without SQL. If 10,000 customers joined in 2011 and 1944 returned after 2 years, what is the retention rate? formula answer style is fine. So I think so it's correct. Should I just check it, like he is saying, just to check? Well, I should check it. I should check it. But it's also can be the problem of right censoring. But I understand it. But the thing is that what he was expecting, what he was showing, that it might be something like this, because we had some data before for the question one. We have some data. So how can I just verifies them? If the result is something like this, then your results makes perfect sense. Okay. So control X, select distinct year, order date from fact internet sales, order by year, order date. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so I have so I will ask ChatGPT when I ran the diagnostic when I ran the diagnostic, which is this. When I ran the diagnostic when I